Hi, this is Brittany, and welcome to Geekerytv, the channel where I would say we, but it is me. Today, I'm going to talk about things I geek out about, and today I'm going to talk about Daredevil from Netflix, not the movie. I spent, like most people I think, last weekend binge watching the new Netflix Daredevil. I don't even know where to start. Basically, I wish I had never seen that shit show that was the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. It didn't really have any redeeming qualities, especially after watching 13 hours of superb casting. Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock is wonderful. He is so good. I don't know why he was never Daredevil to start out with. Now, if you don't know who Charlie Cox is, he was on Boardwalk Empire, briefly, and he was in a movie called Stardust. Those are the two I'm going to give you off the top of my head, because those are the ones I know him from, just straight off the top. There were moments where his sweet, adorable Irish accent came out. But only for just a split second, and then he reined it back in, and he was Hell's Kitchen all the way. The show, so much of his character is complex, and there's no eye contact, so obviously, because he's blind. So, watching him portray all of these emotions on his face, where he can't look you in the eye and be like, okay, this is how I'm feeling, is really intense and really impressive, because I don't think a lot of people could do that. And then there's the fighting. Excuse me. The fighting is so impressive. He is, obviously, I'm not stupid. I know that he's got, a stunt double. But that being said, obviously there were some of those fight scenes he did himself. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna fangirl for a second. His body is ridiculous. There are moments where you see him, like boxing, it's very, Captain America in the boxing gym. It's like, yes, we like that. The girls need that sometimes. We get to watch women be objectified all the time, so give us, one random boxing scene where the sweat's pouring down and we're like, all right, okay. And I'm not vain. I get it. Like, I still really enjoy the show. I think that he gave me everything I needed out of Matt Murdock. He gave me the complexity. He gave me the intensity and the humanity. Because at the end of the day, he's still a normal guy who happens to be blind and a crime fighter and a lawyer. But he's still a friend, and he was a son, and we needed that. We needed to kind of get his origin story, because if not, then it's just like, oh, here's this random blind dude who kicks ass, which is great, but we need to know where it comes from. And I think that that was important, especially for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because there are big things that are happening, and they're introducing us to more and more characters, and it's all going to tie together. It's all going to be very important as they keep rolling out the different phases of films and TV shows. That being said, there's some other very fantastic people, and I actually had to write them down, so I made sure I had everybody's name right. But one of them in particular, I got so excited that I literally paused the show so that I could chant, ducks, 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 because Eldon Henson as Foggy Nelson is so good. Jon Favreau, I love you. You're hilarious, and you worked for the movie. But why did we never think that the kid from Mighty Ducks was gonna kill it as an adult, especially as someone who is so funny and charming as Foggy Nelson? It just made sense. Like, the casting is so masterful in this. Like, they were so brilliant, and everybody they picked. Deborah Ann Wall, wonderful. beautiful. She was great as Karen. Of course, Rosario Dawson is going to be great. She's beautiful and smart and funny, and that plays out on camera with her. But honestly, I think that possibly the best casting for this particular show was Vincent D'Onofrio. He's the best Wilson Fisk I could have ever dreamed of. He not only was obviously the big bad guy, he's terrible. He's, blowing up parts of the city. He says he loves Hell's Kitchen, but he's essentially trying to ruin it to build it back up. But at the same time, you get his origin story and where he comes from and his family and how he basically is a self-made man. And then you go, oh shit, Marvel, what did you do? You made me sympathetic to the bad guy. Which is something that Marvel does. They go, hey, you know what? We know that you're probably going to hate this guy because you're supposed to. He's the bad guy. But we're going to make it really difficult for you to completely hate him. And there are such soft, wonderful moments that Vincent D'Onofrio plays like a champ. And he makes you really sympathetic, not only to him, like in the flashbacks, it's him as a child, but as an adult. As an isolated, brilliant adult male, you go, oh God. Like at one point I just wanted to hug him. He's the bad guy. Why would I want to hug him? Because I felt for him. I felt for his pain. It was the best casting. Really, this show I cannot get over how well casted this show is. I have a quote that I have to look on my phone for. And it's actually from one of my other favorite villains in the Marvel Universe. It's from Tom Hiddleston, who plays Loki, of course. And he's right. This is like the most profound quote for the villains. It says, what Marvel is so clever is that they make their heroes flawed and their villains heroic. And he's right. The majority of their heroes are flawed because they're human. They're normal human guys. Obviously, there are exceptions to that rule when you're talking about Thor because he's a god. But the rest of them are just normal people they've got extraordinary circumstances or extraordinary abilities. And their villains are the same way. They are normal people who they love and there's love and there's loss and they have dedication towards something, even if it's maybe not the best and the ideas that they have are a little construed on what is important. But they have conviction and they believe in what they're doing, even if they don't believe that it's bad, they believe in what they're doing. Wilson Fisk believes in making Hell's Kitchen a good place again because this universe is living in the aftermath of the Avengers. They are living in the aftermath of New York being destroyed and trying to rebuild a city, which is all he's trying to do, is rebuild a city, especially that particular part of the city that he loves and that he grew up in and that his family is from. So I get it, where he is slightly heroic. He's trying to make a difference. His methods are a little messed up, but that's what he knows how to do. So I get it. He's very sympathetic and is very hard. And you almost root for his love story to work. He's the bad guy. That's not what you're supposed to do. But it takes a long time for him and Daredevil to actually meet up. I don't want to say chemistry, but it's the only way to describe it. Their instant sort of animosity towards each other was so perfect. You instantly thought, okay, these guys, they're never going to go out for a drink. They're never going to be friends. But they are definitely, they have conviction, and they're both going to fight for their side no matter what it is. There is another character, and I've never seen this guy in anything. He's been in stuff. I just personally haven't seen him. His name is Toby Leonard Moore. He plays Wesley, who is Wilson Fisk's right-hand man. I almost said his bitch. He's kind of like his lackey. He is perfect as that, like, junior henchman. He's like, hey, I'm smart. I get stuff done. I'm not going to always ask permission because I'm just going to do what I know you want me to do without you telling me. He's one of those, like, perfect personal assistants. He just happens to be a bad guy. But he's so creepy. There are moments where he's creepier than the actual villains of the show. I think that I can't get over the male casting, because sometimes you get those guys and they're kind of machismo, and it's like, oh, yo, I'm here to be Daredevil. I'm going to kick some ass today. But that's not what you want. You want someone you can believe in. You want someone who feels like it's real. So I found, across the board, I found that all of the casting was really well done. Of course, women aren't the most important characters in the show. It is about the men, which is great. I like to see a show where it's about guys kicking guys' asses and, like, owning and living the universe that they're supposed to be in. Foggy Nelson is the best friend you could ever have, you know. And when he finds out about Matt being Daredevil, it crushes him. And it crushes him on such an extreme level that there were moments I thought I might cry. Because, not because I was like, oh God, this is so sad, but because the emotions that read on his face were so intense that you felt his anger and frustration and the betrayal of friendship and trust. And it was so well done. I can't get over how well done the show was. There were, there's always a couple parts where you're like, really? Did we need that? But there weren't anything that, like, stand out in my mind now, looking back, over a week later. And it was just, I was so impressed. And now I am so excited for Jessica Jones and all of those, the next group of Netflix Marvel shows to come out. Because that means then we're going to get the Defenders, and possibly then we will get, Daredevil and all those other wonderful characters to actually be in the film universe. To interact with Tony Stark and Loki and, Black Widow and Hawkeye. And it'll be exciting to see where this is going to go, because I feel like Marvel has really stepped up their game, and they're showing us, like, hey, we have got tons of source material, and we want our fans to be happy, and we want them to really pay attention, and you have to pay attention. That's the thing. There are tiny little Easter eggs and references throughout all of the universe where you have to pay attention and go, oh, wait, I remember that from that. It's like, I just think that Daredevil encapsulated perfectly in 13 hours exactly what you needed from that show. You needed the action. You needed a teeny tiny bit of romance, but not that much. You needed to learn the flaws in your heroes and see how your villains tried to be heroic. And I found it really interesting and really entertaining. And even if you don't know anything about the Marvel Universe, I think you can still watch it as a standalone and be like, hey, this is great. This is fun. There's this beautiful hallway scene where it is the best action sequence I have seen in years. And for a guy who's supposed to be blind, it's so impressive. I can't get over the cinematography and the way it's shot, the colors that are used, representative. And through most of it, it's like, oh, this Daredevil, who doesn't have a name, through the majority of the show, is in like an Under Armour shirt and cargo pants. And you're like, where's the red suit? Where's the red suit? I need the red suit. And it's not until like 12 and a half episodes in that you get the red suit. But you kind of get to see where that comes from, what it's made out of, why he has it. It's nice to get all of that origin story. I'm super excited. I hope that we get another season. Because I can't wait to see how these characters develop. Especially the relationship between Matt and Foggy. Because right now it's kind of in pieces. There's definitely a strain on their friendship, and they've been friends for years and years and years. So I can't wait to see that. If you've watched it, please let me know. Comment below. Subscribe to the channel. Every week, every week at least 1 or 2 videos will be up, talking about all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be about yet, because I was so excited to get this Daredevil video out. I know that the coloring and lighting is off. I'm trying to figure out a new place to tape, so bear with me until I figure that out. And besides that, I think have a good night and live long and prosper.